Hello and welcome back. This week we'll be looking into the meaning of Norse pagan and how to become one. And you may be able to tell I have a new microphone. I'm quite happy. Let's see how this goes. So, firstly, this tends to be a big question a lot of people have, and it's, do you need to convert to be a Norse pagan from any other religion? It is possible to become a Norse pagan. There are no initiation ceremonies like in some religions. There are, however, a few things you need to do or to be aware of to fully convert to Norse pagan. However, pagans don't typically ask you to convert or profess allegiance to a single god. This is mostly down to you or your personal preference. Due to a growing interest in Nordic religions, most people are just curious. I've noted that a lot of people don't necessarily have any particular reason to be curious about this or looking into it. Sometimes it stems from ancestry, so people using like ancestry DNA. Sometimes it can literally be based around movies and even comic books. Nudge, nudge. Thor. But at this point, one thing worth mentioning is the fantastic book by Neil Gaiman, Norse Mythology, in which he narrates many of the tales from the original Norse mythology. I know that kind of sounds like common sense with the title of the book, but trust me, it's worth a read. One website I found that I quite enjoy is called celebratepaganholidays.com, and they've even referenced a YouTube channel called The Wisdom of Odin. They say it's fabulous and they really enjoy it. You should go and check that out. That being said, there are three very simple steps to Norse pagan life and becoming a Norse pagan. The first and probably most prevalent is to learn about paganism, learn about Norse, learn about all the culture and everything that's in and around it. Pick the parts that you like, pick the parts that resonate with you, find your path. And once you've achieved this, the second step is practice. Build yourself an altar. Add as many candles as you can, your favorite scents, something that's important to you. Maybe add a photo. Because the importance of an altar is that is where you practice your religion. That can be the one space in a crowded house that is purely just yours. Maybe take some time there and share a glass of mead with the gods. However, there is no set rule on how to have your altar. It should be something that's meaningful to you, and that's about all that there really is when it comes to what you need. Leading us quite nicely onto step 3, connect with the natural world. Take some time to walk through the woods. Sit at the shoreline, wet your feet in the water, or you bury your hands in the sand. Do whatever it is that makes you happy, but connect. Really connect with nature. Many people ask if Norse pagan religion is still practiced today, and I think primarily while like the Abrahamic religions such as Judaism, Christianity, Islam are practiced much more commonly, paganism is probably one of the fastest growing religions at the moment, particularly in Western Europe and America. Asatru is the name of the specific brand of the Nordic faith that focuses on worshipping the Norse gods. It began in 1972 in Iceland with the goal of revitalizing the ancient ways of Germanic paganism. Bornsider, sorry for the pronunciation, is an Old Norse term that means the ancient custom. Starting in Scandinavia, it's a way to seek out the original meaning of their ancestors' faith. Although that today is open to all people who wish to follow the pagan path. We briefly touched on heathenry previously, but it is simply that there were heathens and pagans. It wasn't technically a separate part of any religion or even necessarily with its own beliefs. Current Icelandic population statistics suggest that Asatru is the fastest growing religion in Iceland. As it can be particularly difficult to map out all the different types of paganism, mostly because it's an umbrella word. It encompasses many other types of spirituality. The world has existed in modern sense for centuries. No one really knows its origins, or, to the point of my research anyway. But the biggest suggestion is it was first recorded around 1325, and it comes from the late Latin word paganus, or rural civilian. Paganus stemmed from pagus, which means a village or rural district, and came to mean a civilian who was not a soldier of Christ, and from the Christian point of view, a worshipper of a false god. However, paganism isn't some long-lost belief. People have been practicing forms of paganism for centuries. There are noted traces of neo-paganism in the 1800s. Versions today were strongly shaped in the 1960s in the United States, also in parts of the United Kingdom, Scandinavia being a big part of this, but nonetheless still celebrated in United Kingdom. I think it's important to mention that certain pagan beliefs and even celebrations are still widely known about today, notably things like Halloween, but also birthday candles. Pagan markings of the year generally centered around solstices, but some personally marked things with their birthday, lighting one candle for each year the person has been alive, and an additional candle in hopes for another healthy year. Kissing under the mistletoe, that's another one. In Norse mythology, Frigga, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, wept after her son Balder was killed by a mistletoe arrow. Freya's tears turned the red berries white and resurrected her lost son, bestowing vitality and love connotations to this plant. My personal favorite is the Christmas occurring on December 25th. The date of Jesus' birthday in the Bible was not actually given. The Christians landed on the 25th of December for their holiday to try and overrule the Roman pagan holiday, Saturnalia. Saturnalia was the celebration of the god of the harvest, Saturn. Taking place roughly around the winter solstice, Saturnalia was meant to beckon Saturn to bring life back to the world while the pagans suffer through winter. So, as I've been trying to keep these short, I'm going to turn this from a 3-part to a 4-part. The next one will be out next weekend. Thank you for listening. It has been a pleasure. Have a nice day.